Here we are then for the F1 Sim Racing World Championship 2026. It is event 4 here, live from Formula One's Media and Technology Centre. It's been an exciting start to proceedings. Yesterday, we saw Ismael Fassi take the win around Mexico. And today, we are now going to be racing around Brazil and Abu Dhabi. And I am now here at the F1 Sim stage, very excited to welcome out the teams. We've already done quali. We'll remind you of what happened just a moment ago, but we will now welcome out the team. So we'll start with Haas, and we welcome the drivers Joris Krozen and Thomas Gau. The highest points finish for both of these drivers so far this season, meeting their engineers Samuel and Tyler, getting ready to chase down 8th place in the Constructors' Championship. And we welcome out our next team. It is Mercedes. Driving for them is Tico Hardy and Thomas Ronhaar. Thomas Ronhaar will be starting on the grid today in 3rd, and last year finishing 3rd in the race. Tico Hardy looking to pick up his first points of the season, meeting their engineers Gregory and Ryan, now getting ready to see what they can do in this race around Brazil. Now we welcome out our next team. It is Aston Martin, Jan Halliday and Ruben Pedreno. Ruben having some fantastic form so far, coming off the back of a podium around Mexico, finishing 3rd there. And Jan Halliday looking to pick up more points since his last points from Japan this season. It's his rookie year, looking to improve, and they are meeting their engineers Axel and Tice right now. Okay, let's welcome the Papaya team. It's McLaren, it's Jake Benham and Alfie Butcher. A return to form for Alfie Butcher, finishing 2nd in Mexico yesterday. And Jake Benham looking for another podium, his last one coming back in Japan this season. The team engineers and race craft and help from Alessandro and Philip for them. An inspired result around Spa. Of course, I'm talking about Racing Bulls. Let's welcome out the drivers, Joni Tormala and Tom Manley. The incredibly experienced Joni Tormala finished 8th last year in this race around Brazil, and Tom Manley coming off the back of that 1-2 with Racing Bulls in Spa. Oliver and Lucas waiting to chat to the drivers. Here we go then. Next up, we have Williams. It is going to be driven by the one and only Alvaro Caraton and Nico Longe. The other driver in their lineup, of course, is Istvan Pukki. The experience of both of these drivers is going to help them today as they get ready to move up the table, currently in 4th in the team's championship, and their engineers Shimon and Alex. So here we go then, let's welcome out our next team. It is of course a Ferrari, led by Ismael Fassi and Barry Boremund. Ismael Fassi coming off that win back in Spain and yesterday in Mexico, and Barry Boremund having a return to event 3 with a win around Zandvoort. They're meeting their engineers Jonah and Oscar. And then we move into 2nd in the Constructors' Championship. It is Red Bull, driven by Jarno Opmeer and Freddie Rasmussen. Jarno Opmeer, a 3-time world champ, and Freddie Rasmussen, a 1-time champion. Can they change the fortunes of this team and maybe get another Constructors' Championship? We'll wait to see. 17 wins apiece from both of those drivers. They're going to have a big order because Alpine are the next team. Otis Lawrence and Danny Berezne. Smiles on their faces. They currently lead the team's championship, and Otis Lawrence is the driver to beat now, the Welshman. He starts in pole around this race, and he is also leading the Drivers' Championship. He meets Zeb and Tomac, ready to go racing. Well, there are the drivers in the driver walkout. Now, if you missed quali earlier on, then don't panic, because Kai Bacchini and Alex Jakes will take you through all of the action.
Thank you very much, Tom Deacon. Let's review then an epic qualifying hour which had huge ramifications for the championship. Everyone had 20 minutes of practice before we got the green light at the end of the pit lane for Q1. At the end of Q1, 3 cars would drop. They made their way to the circuit. Invalidations, a key part of the quali hour.
Yeah, it was a difficult time out there on the circuit. Drivers falling at different hurdles, though. We had turn 3, which seemed to be the main issue out in Q1, which you saw Tico Hardy have the first runnings in as he ran a little bit wide and found himself dropping out in the first qualifying session. It was 17, for Tico Hardy. Tom Manley also found a few issues down at turn 3 as he ran a little bit wide, invalidating his lap, and also found himself out of the inaugural session. A wave at the camera, and on to Q2 we went as drivers were now frantically trying to get the laps on the boards. Turn 4 now seemed to be the kryptonite for everyone out on the circuit. Jan Halliday was one of the first to find that out as that ended his session. Danny Beresnay as well was not able to aid his teammate in making his way through into Q3, so it will be a lone Alpine making his way through. And who else than Otis Lawrence, your championship leader, will be heading into the session by himself.
How arty that shot, Danny Beresnay, who's eliminated as we went to Q3, and it was a different run plan for Thomas Ronhaar. He'd gone early and was the driver to beat. Alvaro Caraton so good over 1 lap, but invalidating at the exit of turn 4.
That's all it took to find yourself out of competition. And Thomas Ronhaar, he was hoping for a return to form like he did last year in Event 4, but sideways through 5 was all it took for Otis Lawrence, your championship leader, to be back in his righteous pole position. Celebrations aplenty from the Alpine team, but you can't celebrate too early because the job's not done yet.
4th pole of the season for Otis Lawrence at the racetrack where he can become the champion of sim racing for Formula 1. On the front row alongside him, Barry Borman, 0.02 of a second back. There's Thomas Ronhaar, 0.02 of a second back. Ishmael Fassi in 4th, and then in 5th place we have Alfie Butcher. Freddie Rasmussen's next to Jarno Opmeer, and it's Caraton, Benham and Longuet. Pedreno is ahead of Beresnay and Crozen, and it is Tourmala, Halliday, Gao, Hardy and Tom Manley. Talking of Toms, here's another one for you. Over to you, Mr. Deacon.
Thank you very much, Alex Jakes and Kai Vicini. There is another one. And there's also an engineer, Tomac, as well, for Alpine. But we won't bog ourselves down now. I'm trying to catch my breath.
You okay?
You've done amazingly after the last couple of events to run back and forth from the studio to the sim stage.
That opening looked fantastic, though. I really enjoyed that.
I hope the drivers enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that. A lot of fun to celebrate them as we go into the penultimate race. Nicola Hume, Brendan Lee, 2-time world champ and now Ferrari ambassador. Looking very cool today, Brendan. Can I just put that out there? Very cool. Are you feeling cool? Are you calm as we go to the penultimate race of the season?
I feel cool because we have some good AC above us.
Sure.
But to be honest, I'm not that calm. My heart rate's a bit higher. I feel a bit tense.
Do you?
Know? Yeah, because there's so many people here with their dream on the line, and I've been there before and I've been lucky to be in that position. I can imagine what they're feeling, what their expectation is as well. So I have a bit of tension about me.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be all over after this race, Nicola?
Right. A part of me would like Otis to get it immediately and just get that win done, and then he can relax for the final race. But also a part of me wants it to go right down to the last race of the season, because you kind of, as a racing fan, you want that last-minute drama, don't you?
Absolutely. And the Red Bull fans out there, we know, we see you. They are out there. They will be wanting this to go as far as possible. And it's such a battle. I know we're talking about Drivers' Championship, which Brendan's won 2 of those, but it's also the constructors. That's where the $750,000 prize pool is. So there's something on the line for every single team. And it did feel nerves jittery. That's how I describe it. I felt jittery. And the drivers looked a little bit like they just can't wait to get going around Brazil.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that opening sequence that we saw, everyone I thought looked pretty calm, didn't they, Brendan? Do you think?
I think a lot of them look calm. I think, to be honest, ironically, by doing something extra distracts you from the task at hand, so it can give a nice relaxation to the mind. And, of course, you being there helped as well.
It does help.
Thank you. Yeah, there was fist bumps aplenty. Brendan, that pole lap set by Otis Lawrence, it was something special. And in the context of the championship, it was really important he did that. That would give him the confidence. Even at lunchtime, he just looked on cloud 9.
Yeah, into turn 1 here, and the theme around this circuit is going to be right up against the grass and the white lines as well. So as we go through the first sector, flat out through there, open up the DRS, and now right up against the right-hand side of the white line, look for your brake marker board and into the apex. Some key characteristics about this track is you go for the compromise of low downforce or high top speed, but you need enough grip in the middle sector. Throw it in here, just a lift, downshift, and maximizing the track usage. Straight line up over the curbing, you can see millimeters away from the grass. Keep the car hooked on the curbing for the rotation, straight line the exit as much as possible, pull left, hit the brake, float the car into the apex. You have a bit of undulation here so the rear of the car can snap around. Flat out for the left-hander, and surprise, surprise, we're already at the end of the lap. One more braking zone to go. Easy to make a mistake here. You want to kiss that white line to perfection, and now your job is done for the lap. Keep the car tight to the inside, minimize the distance, open up DRS, and now your lap is done. And wow, what a result for Otis.
What a result. And also, what a voice you have, Brendan, because I was just soothed. I was soothed listening to you.
I love it when he does that bit.
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
absolutely love it. It's so satisfying.
Of all the jitteriness that we have and the excitement that's building, that just really just mellowed me out there. Let's have a look at the driver standings, where the points are, what will matter. I was being serious there, Brendan. I was being very, very serious. And it's seriously exciting for Otis Lawrence. He knows that just a win and outscoring Ismail and Freddie Rasmussen means he will clinch that title. They're both on 104 points. And Ismail finishing second in the championship last year. No shame in that at all. The drivers, it's so close, so competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, let's look at Jarno down to Ruben, actually. Unfortunately, there won't be enough time for Ruben to turn it around, but simply you have 20 of the best F1 sim racing drivers in the world on this game, and it's all coming down to crunch point as well. If we look at Ismail, Frederick, no points separate them in the final day of the championship.
When you look at the team standings, and I'm going to tell you this, because we don't even need to see it, this is how close it is. Alpine, followed by Red Bull, Ferrari. When you have a team that has never won a team's championship, the nerves are high, or the fact they sort of seem fearless. When you've got the likes of Red Bull, Ferrari talking to me, even yesterday, Ishmael was like, it's important that we got that win because of Williams. So they're concentrating on other areas. Alpine, how are they going to get it across the line? They just have to do what they've been doing? Or maybe they'll mix it up a little bit before the penultimate race?
I don't want them to mix it up a little bit. Everything they've been doing so far throughout this entire championship has probably been just about right, with maybe a couple of occasions where it hasn't gone their way. I think they should stick to what they know and just go at it as a normal race. Don't let the nerves get to you. I mean, those points between Alpine and Red Bull Racing with constructors are so tight. I think it's like 6 points between them or something. So it is all or nothing here.
And then when we were watching quali and Danny Berezny didn't make it to Q3, I was like, what's going to happen? And the Red Bull starting side by side almost. Very exciting. Is there a driver that isn't maybe in contention, or just a driver to watch? And what I mean is, it's not just a driver that might win it, but for everybody to watch along who could have an effect on the title.
Are you asking for my particular choice?
I am asking you for a particular choice.
Ismail Fassi.
Okay.
The reason I want to bring up Ismail is, I mean, he came second in the championship last season. We also know that he is currently sat in second place, so he's now currently sort of battling Freddie Rasmussen, but he's still got that chance. He's still got that chance to actually win the championship if everything goes a little bit wrong for Otis today. I mean, he's had a brilliant year. I mean, these are the highlights from yesterday. We had him on the sofa yesterday because he had such a brilliant race. He played everything so perfectly, sitting behind Alfie Butcher for such a long time, playing his cards absolutely right. And I feel like he's approached these few days with a completely calm head. I mean, it was his birthday yesterday, so that all worked in his favour. And he's here today and he seems to be in a pretty positive mood. So I'm excited to see what he can achieve. I mean, he was P4 in Brazil last year, so we know that it is possible for him to get a good race here. But who knows?
He knows the circuit well.
Yeah.
Coming off last year, racing for Williams. There's a team objective for him, which is to beat out his old team on the team's championship. And very skilled driver. What could have been? I think it's one of those teams that you look back and you say, what could have been had Barry been here at the beginning? They've got a fabulous setup. John Evans has played his part as a team player for the organisation, the setup. But what could have been, Brendan? With your connections with Ferrari, I know you'll be rooting for them, but but he's such a good driver, Ishmael and Barry. We know what they're capable of.
Yeah, both of them are world class, and that's why Ferrari want them, that's why Ferrari have them. And to be honest, their expectations would have been to win both championships. I've not spoken to them about that, but that's what I assume from them. So I think, yes, they'll be a bit upset not to be fighting for the championship in the constructor, but for Ismail, he has every chance in the drivers.
I love that celebration from Ishmael. The tongue was out, sort of fist bump there. Yesterday, when I said, Brendan, what's the strategy here? And you said it could be a two-stop. And there was a few hushed moments. There was even inhale of breath, just shock. Jarno almost made it happen. Is he your driver to sort of keep an eye on today?
He is, purely by the fact he probably didn't listen to me, but did the strategy I said anyway, and it worked out. So he is my my driver to watch on this occasion.
Mm. And because he could have an effect on the title?
Yeah, no, of course, you know, like he's a bit out of it in the drivers, but of course Red Bull worked really well together in the previous seasons as well. So him and Freddie working together, I expect them to split the strategy a little bit and put some pressure on Alpine and especially Otis Lawrence.
Okay, Q1 was exciting earlier on, and Nicola, the whole of quali was very exciting. I really enjoyed you finding out about Tom Manley's finger point.
I asked for you. I did it for you.
I know, and I really appreciate it because back in the day, it was the Brendan Lee, a proper finger wag. You've been catching up with some drivers. What's been going on since we were at quali?
I have, yeah. Well, I mean, I spoke to Otis on pole position, but then immediately after. So what happens is after a quali, everything's all done. I have a chat with who's on pole position, and normally everyone escapes the room so they can go over their strategy, think ahead of the race, have something to eat. But I managed to just grab Jarno very quickly, and I went, "Can you just wait for a couple of minutes? I really want to talk to you." So I caught up with Jarno Opmeer. Jarno, my first time talking to you during event 4, so I didn't get the chance to catch up with you yesterday because your race in Mexico yesterday, seeing you do that two-stop and then overtake after overtake after overtake was kind of the classic Jarno that we would expect.
Yeah, it was a very fun race, to be honest. Could push the whole way through. I think no one-stopper was able to push the whole race, so it was nice. Unfortunately, quali wasn't too good yesterday. Really struggling with consistency, to be honest, with the balance of the car today, but also yesterday. Today we're lacking a lot of pace in general as well. I think we're very lucky to be P6 and P7 because I don't think we even deserve to be there. But yeah, let's hope we can do something in the race. It's not going to be easy to overtake, so that will be difficult, quite challenging with the strategy. Luckily for us later today, Abu Dhabi will be, I think, a little bit more flexible with strategy and easier to overtake. So
I just want to pick up on one thing that you just said, that you don't feel like you deserve to be there. Why is that?
No, we're just lacking pace from the lap times we saw in Q1 and Q2. We're performing very nearly to our maximum at the moment. So perhaps we're missing something with the setup or something else. I don't know, but. Yeah, we would have not been able to do those lap times the other teams were doing.
I mean, constructors obviously very, very important in terms of getting those points because it's very, very close between Red Bull and Alpine at the moment. But also at the same time, Freddie is still very, very close to potentially taking a championship. Like, are you approaching this to try and support Freddie, or are you still doing your own thing?
To be honest, I think at the moment, unless we get into 1-2 position, we are just trying to focus on constructors. Of course, if something happens to Otis in the next 2 races, then yeah, sure, we can look at the drivers. But yeah, at the moment, the focus just has to be on the constructors because it's very unlikely that Freddie or me are even going to be in contention for the drivers' championship after this race.
Well, we'll see what happens because anything can happen. Who knows if it's going to be raining in Brazil later? But go and relax with your team, Jarno. Thank you very much for talking to me.
So good to get that interview. Thank you very much for that, Nicola. Managing to grab Jarno, and what he grabbed our attention, definitely, with that two-stop strategy. What did you like? What did you admire about it, Brendan?
Just aggressive. It's typical Jarno Opmeer. Coming from a sort of late pit stop, charging with fresh tyres, utilising the opportunity in front of him. And to be honest, that's what I like to see. Although I was on the receiving end of it in previous years, being able to watch it and fully appreciate the skill sets on place is something that is for me, humbling, because it's like, cool, you get to see that. Probably something I couldn't do in all honesty. And it's something admirable, I think is the best word.
I think we should also say a huge congratulations to Jarno for being the second ever driver to go over 1,000 points. It's only been Freddie Rasmussen that's done it in the past. Now it's Jarno Opmeer. That guy is incredible. If you've been following sim racing for a long time, you would have always had your eye on him. And he's a joy to watch. He is.
The timing you had there was perfect. The screen just showed that 1,000-point mark. He's definitely a danger man, someone to look out for. When we look at the Interlagos, the Brazilian circuit, key areas that you would approach here, Brendan?
Turn 4, definitely, that's a big opportunity. Turn 1 is quite obvious, but also as you start sector 2 with a double right-hander, expect people to go side by side there and actually hang it around the outside. Pit lane exit will cost you a lot of time in the race as well, so those are my key areas. Key point summary, turn 1 will be side by side and a lot of people finishing their move in turn 4. Strategy, we're going to be boxing lap 15 if you're starting on the medium compound tyre, and if you're starting on the hard, around lap 20, fighting through the field at the end of the race, trying to take home some solid points.
All right then, come on, BL, Brendan Lee, what would you do? Which strategy would you go for?
I would have a cup of tea, to be honest.
Okay, I'm throwing you in. You're starting P. For the title, let's get excited about this. All right, you're Thomas Ronhart. You're starting P3. What strategy are you going for?
Wets.
Okay. Unbelievable. I knew it was going to happen eventually. You won't get a serious answer from him. Looking forward to this one because obviously with yourself, Brendan, you've had experience around this track. Looking forward to this one, watching?
I am, but it's Brazil. My answer was genuine. It might rain, it's Brazil, so my answer might be wets or inters. If it is dry, though, I would start on the hard compound tyres.
All right, heard it here first. Thank you very much, Nicola. Brendan. Kai Bacchini, Alex Jakes, taking us through all of the action. I sort of got serious answers from Brendan, and I sort of didn't. What's your take on this race?
It is everything that we love in the commentary box. It is a day the title can be decided, Tom. This one is wide open in terms of the race victory, but Otis Lawrence has been dreaming of this moment. This is his first chance to seal the title. Easier said than done, though, with that pressure on the line, Kai.
Yeah, so much pressure on Otis's shoulders. I mean, leading the championship coming into this round. It's not an easy feat at all. Although no driver has ever lost the championship with 3 rounds to go, there is a very good chance that it could happen here. History could write itself in the books, but Otis Lawrence, he's on unbelievable form right now. He needs to finish in front of Fassi and Rasmussen if he wants to wrap up the championship here in Interlagos. Otherwise, it goes down to Abu Dhabi.
Would go down to a last race shootout, but if he finishes ahead of Fassi and Rasmussen, it is over, it is done. It would mean his points get extended from the 27-point lead that he carries. 26 after yesterday, 1 point for pole position earlier on today. And the arena stands ready for our title decider. Here's the grid for the penultimate race of the year. Tom Manley in 18th position. Tycho Hardy is in 17th. They're on the back row of the grid. Next up is Thomas Gau in 16th place. Jan Halliday is 15th for Aston Martin. Then Joni Tormula is in 14th. Joris Krozen lines up P13 for Haas. It's Danny Beresne in 12th place. He is next to Ruben Pedreno, coming off the back of a podium finish at the last event. To the top 10 we go with Nico Longue racing for Williams from P10 and Jake Benham going from 9th place for McLaren. Alvaro Carreton was good enough for P8 in qualifying. Jarno Opmeer didn't really think he deserved 7th, but he will be a factor in the race from there. Ahead of him is his teammate, Freddie Rasmussen, in 6th. Alfie Butcher's had an upturn in form as we get towards the end of the season. He's P5. Ismail Fassi, still a contender for the title. He is in 4th, and our most recent race winner, Thomas Ronhart, has won around here in the past in 2024. He's 3rd on the grid, and the top 2 contenders to win this one on the front row. Barry Burrowand in 2nd, and Otis Lawrence, if he stays where he is, he's the champion of F1 sim racing.
Yeah, a lot up for stakes here. Otis Lawrence, the Welshman, taking it away from pole position. First in the championship, first off the grid. He'll be looking for another victory under his belt.
Here come the lights. The title can be won. and we go racing to turn number 1 in Interlagos. Perfect getaway for Otis Lawrence. That's what he needed, and he has the lead into turn number 1. Barry Borman in second. Thomas Ronhaar is in third. It is dry out there. There is a mix of strategies. It's Fassi in fourth. It's Butcher up against Rasmussen. Rasmussen trying to make headway off the line. He's currently in P5. He's got the inside line. Butcher's not going to be able to fight that one, and he knows it. Medium tyre goes through. Lawrence has the medium tyre. Borman has the medium tyre. It's the hard tyre for Ronhaar, the hard tyre for Fassi, and the medium tyre for Rasmussen. Your top 5.
Rasmussen's going to be so desperate to pick up as much ground as possible in these early doors and gain these positions. Overtakes in the background as Beresnay trying to carve his way through the field as well. It wasn't the qualifying that he would have been hoping for. Into 11th now knocking on the door of the top 10 as he goes to the outside of Longuet. He'll go the long way round, tries it, but no, has to slip in behind. Now fending off from the Aston Martin as Ruben Pedreño is going to challenge the Alpine on the inside. Crozin will get there. He'll find himself in 12th. Danny Beresnay not finding it early at the early stages of the races.
Okay, Otis Lawrence in position where he needs to be, but he has gone for the medium tyre. That gives an option for the hard runners, and it is not a super bright day in the game for the F1 sim racers. It's overcast conditions, but it is dry. The big question is what we would get weather-wise with a 55% chance of rain, but that has not arrived. Otis Lawrence has got the start that he needs. He's got the attacking tyre, and he will mark his way through. We're expecting a one-stop race, unlike Jarno Opmeer yesterday, in spectacular fashion. Lawrence, Borman, Ronhaar, Fassi, Rasmussen, then Alfie Butcher, not having the getaway that he wanted, not having the opening lap that he was looking for. Jarno Opmeer in 7th place, then Caraton, Benham, and Longuet. Nowhere near the swapping, changing, and rearranging of the order that we saw the first event of event 4, the previous race that we had in Mexico City. Is there a chance down the inside for Nicolas Longuet in the background? There was, and he improves up to 9th position. They're on the same tyre, so Longuet's done incredibly well, or maybe a mistake from Benham to lose that 9th place.
Either way, Longuet now finds himself tucked in behind his teammate. We know how crucial teamwork is here in the F1 Sim Racing Championship. Benham's not going to give it up lightly, though, as he has a little sniff to the inside of turn 1. Has to think better of it. Maybe the second DRS zone is going to be a better opportunity for the McLaren driver, as he's still tucked in tight behind Nicolas Longuet, but he's got Danny Beresnay, the hungry Hungarian, behind him, who will be looking to try and aid his teammate in any way possible. Split strategy between the Alpine drivers. That allows Danny Beresnay to play that team game, go for the long run, hinder any drivers, maybe back some drivers up if needed to help Otis Lawrence gain that ground, but no help needed right now as Otis Lawrence is looking strong out in front.
Yeah, he's got a 6/10 of a second lead. The driver who had an uncharacteristically difficult day last time out in Mexico City, went out in Q2, had to fight his way through, did fight his way through, but faded late on and then got a 1-second penalty for not allowing racing room. It means he's got more work to do than potentially he was thinking with 10 laps to go in the race yesterday. But he leads, and we're expecting the one stop, so he will be ticking off the laps. If it finishes like this, he is the champion.
And that's exactly how we want it to go. Otis Lawrence, he's not bothered about any drama. He doesn't want any upset. He just wants smooth sailing all the way to the checkered flag, and he will be counting down the corners and laps as they go. 33 more to go for Otis Lawrence, and Barry Borman's not going to make it an easy one, is he, in the Ferrari? Thomas Ronhaar as well. It was a good start off the line from him. It was a challenge for pole position. He had the opportunity to take it away from the front of the grid, but had to settle for the second row. Let's go on board with Barry Borman now as he looks down the rear end of that special Alpine livery that we have here in the F1 Sim Racing Championship. Let's have a little look at the restart here, Alex.
So we're on board with Alvaro Caraton. No, we're on board with Nicolas Longuet looking at Alvaro Caraton, and we're heading into the first turn. And Caraton holding the line. Longuet was looking to try and improve. He did so. Oh, contact, and it really could have cost him a lot of places. Longuet will be relieved. He only lost momentum off that corner. He was eventually able to get high Jake Benham for P9.
Longue very fortunate that that was wheel to wheel and no damage on the end plates there, as any downforce lost here around the Interlagos circuit is going to have a huge effect on your race. A, you're going to lose time in the pit stops, and B, you're going to lose so much time on the circuit with it being such a high downforce dependent track. You don't want to pick up any damage early doors. Freddie Rasmussen here, he's wanting to gain positions, but he also has to play in the back of his mind this risk-reward balance, because he wants to get the moves done early, he wants to gain the ground on circuit, but he also can't put himself in a risky position that puts him out of contention with a mistake.
Couple of wheel-banging moments with Alfie Butcher. Butcher not getting the launch that he wanted on that hard tyre. You're on board with Jarno Opmeer with these live pictures on that 5 of 36. Rasmussen in the top 5. Otis Lawrence on for 25 points. Danny Bresnay out of the points at the moment as it stands. So Red Bull with both cars up against Otis Lawrence, who has the lead, and it's 0.8 of a second, as he isn't doing the after you swap the lead with Barry Burrament, his closest rival on the medium tyre, and they will both be aware, Burrament especially, after yesterday where he had the pace to win the race. They got the strategy wrong for those who started on the medium tyre, and in the end he was forced to run at a much slower pace. They'll both be aware of the risk the hard tyre poses as the mediums fall away, and you can see Burrament using that DRS to get within 1/10 of a second at turn 4.
Well, talking about strategy, outside of the tyre strategy, Barry Burrament is in a very interesting position, because obviously missing those early races in the championship, Burrament doesn't find himself in contention for the individual drivers' standings. However, he is able to help out Ferrari in the team standings. They're currently sitting 3rd in behind Red Bull and Alpine that are 49 and 55 points ahead of them. But just a few races can completely switch that on top of its head. Barry Burrament can also help out Fassi in the driver standings. If he can get himself in front of Lawrence and hinder the Alpine out in front, that will draw in Ron Haar and Fassi and completely blow the door wide open.
It's well poised at the moment, but Otis Lawrence is exactly where he wants to be. He won't love the fact that there are very few drivers running the medium tyre. So let's go back to why he would have chosen the medium tyre. Might have wanted the hard off the start line. Former champion Brendan Lee telling us in the pre-show that he would have wanted the hard tyre. But you know full well that the driver alongside, 8 metres back off the start line, is going to go aggressive. You know that Fassi went for the hard tyre yesterday. And so Alpine feeling the need to mark off the launch that Burrament was always going to get on the medium tyre. Freddie Rasmussen clearly just prefers it. Red Bull choosing to split the strategy. Opmeer on the hards, Rasmussen on the mediums. Opmeer the winner of this race 1 year ago.
Yeah, Opmeer will be hoping to make up a couple of positions here, but also help out his teammate. Opmeer still in mathematical chance of winning the championship, but realistically, his chances are fading by the lap. Freddie Rasmussen, though, will have to get a move on if he wants to still challenge for this championship and take it all the way to Bahrain. We're still in the early stages of the race, though. 7 laps completed of 36. Lawrence leads the way from Burrament, Ron Haar, Fassi and Rasmussen, your top 5.
Now Barry Burrament working hard behind the wheel, but no way by. Through turn 3 we go. All the power. Let's have a look at how much he's deploying. Getting that back to you on the left-hand side of your graphic, and just, you can hear the pip for DRS and a wait in the wheel tracks. Again, he always gets down to 1/10 of a second under braking for turn 4.
Well, one thing I noticed, Alex, down into turn 1 of braking, Barry Burrament was just leaning off the accelerator, coasting into the braking zone. Now, that's going to save him fuel and also save his tyres as well if he doesn't attack the braking zones so heavily. So Burrament may be looking to play the long game here and attack Otis Lawrence later on. If he preserves his tyres now, he'll have better tyres later on in the race, since he'll be able to take this medium stint a little bit longer in the early stages. But with your live standings on the screen, Otis Lawrence currently looking at taking home 155 points, and with that 39-point gap to Ismail Fassi, with only 27 points up for grabs in the final race, that would cement him the championship overall.
That would get the job done as it stands. Otis Lawrence finds himself where he wants to be. Both of them aware of what happened yesterday, when it was a ceding of track position early on that cost those who started on the quicker tyre, as you wouldn't blame them at all if they were deciding to really measure the pace, to elongate that medium tyre stint at the start. And then those on the hard will know they've got the durable tyre, but they've got no way by, and you're always going to have the option of looking after your tyres. So a restrictive pace pretty much for everyone at the moment, and the entire field is one giant DRS train. So we wait to see when the top two in the race elect to take their pit stop.
Oh, that is the question. Is Brendan Lee's strategy correct? Well, he's a two-time world champion. I'm sure he'll know better than any of us watching along at home. Otis Lawrence still leading the way, still just negotiating that gap back to Barry Borman at the moment as he's looking to control another victory under his belt. This would be win number 4 of the season, with another 5 podiums to go along with that. Average finishing position of 5.4. He needs to do better than that if he wants to win the championship in this race. And with the way that he's setting himself up, I can't see it going any other way.
Been a good year for Otis Lawrence, but yesterday was a really tough day. It was contact in Spain, but overall pace. It was a penalty for 9th position, dropped him down. He was dropped down from where he originally finished, and so his advantage that was 30 points as he crossed the line now went down to 26. It went up to 27 with pole position, and in the championship you get a point for pole position, you get a point for fastest lap, and you get the usual Grand Prix Sunday points allocation for the top 10 finishing positions. Danny Bresnay still out of the points. Gotta say, it's all very well behaved so far after the fireworks of yesterday in Mexico City. Everyone is waiting for the crucial pit stop phase. And how long can you elongate those medium tyres is going to be crucial, or is it going to be another day like yesterday when we find ourselves where the hard tyre starters taking the pain early on, fending off the medium runners, and out front there's a change of lead. Barry Borman goes through, and Otis Lawrence doesn't feel the need to lead all of the way in the race that he hopes will be the one where he can call himself the champion.
Well, maybe now it's Lawrence's time to preserve his tyres a little bit. He doesn't look very flustered, does the Welshman in your bottom right. Little miss of the apex there and a lock up on the brakes, but plenty of time to recover. Small mistakes like that aren't as crucial as you would see in qualifying. Let's get a little bit of a replay here on board with the man who took the lead in the Scarlet Red Ferrari colours as he just flies on by Otis Lawrence with nothing he can do down into turn 1. Energy deployment and DRS at your use. That Alpine was a sitting duck on the outside line as the Ferrari just makes his way by. Barry Borman hits the front for the first lead change of this race. Now, can Borman go on to what he was able to do in Zandvoort and complete the double with 2 wins under his belt this season?
That will be the aim. Zandvoort was very, very strong, but it was a move of pressure that changed everything. Otis Lawrence has got the speed. Barry Borman is almost going as wide as possible into turn 1. And now we've got Thomas Ronhaar in contention on the hard tyre. Driver trying to take his 2nd win around Interlagos in his sim racing career. It's Borman ahead of Otis Lawrence. Lawrence doesn't want to get caught up in anything dramatic, and he won't. He'll make his way through, and Otis Lawrence retakes the lead in Brazil.
This is the worst position that Lawrence would have been hoping for when he was in 2nd there, clearly feeling the pressure from Ronhaar behind, because the last thing he wants to do is lose out on another car, so he's feeling the pressure to defend from behind, and in doing so, he almost has to attack Barry Borman in front and is giving no choice but to get himself into the front of this pack, which is ultimately just destroying his medium tyres. Thomas Ronhaar, though, on the alternate strategy, the fact he's able to hang with the medium runners on his hard compound is looking very good to set himself up for later on. If he's able to deploy this pace early on the hards, I don't see why he couldn't go on to win this one.
Yeah, the more durable tyre. And in comes Lawrence, in comes Borman. Thomas Ronhaar takes the lead, and he has put together a superb stint. He's 0.8 of a second ahead of Ismail Fassi, who's also on that tyre. The same applies as well to Freddie Rasmussen on the mediums. He's gone on as well. So 20 seconds lost, the new rubber gained, and crucially, there will be clear air for Otis Lawrence and Barry Borman, who are in the same order leaving the pit lane as they entered it, and back out onto the racetrack goes Otis Lawrence with free air at this stage, and we will see how long the hard tyres can go. Those who started on the medium forced to, they're not separated by much, but there you go. 11 seconds now for Otis Lawrence to hammer into, to run at his clear, natural, rapid pace around this Interlagos circuit. He will not want to catch anyone. He will want the hard tyres into the pits to make their mandatory stop.
It was almost the shepherd and the sheep peeling off into the pit lane as Boromond just almost ghosting and copying the moves of Lawrence in front of him. Both of them now with well clear air of 11 seconds just in front of them. 20 seconds is the average time lost in a pit stop. 18 seconds for the actual pit stop, but due to the tight and twisty exit of the pit lane exit on this circuit, an extra 1 or 2 seconds is added onto that time. Otis Lawrence will now be looking to get the maximum out of these hard tyres. Both the Ferrari and Alpine drivers will have to push like hell out of the pit lane here to get these hard tyres up to running order and try and offset the hard and medium runners of Freddie Rasmussen, who's still hanging out there on the mediums. The last of the medium runners is the driver in third. I think we'll wait until we get some data fed back on how Lawrence and Boromond are running before we see Rasmussen peel off into the pit lane.
Well, Otis Lawrence and Barry Boromond will know that they might be on different teams, but they don't want to scrap here. They want to work together to reduce the gap at the front of the field. So the downside is that they're unable to shake off those on the hard tyre. The upside is that they now have access to that durable tyre. They've got the fresh grip, and we'll see the difference in lap times. We will have a look at that. Ron Ha trying to win his first race of the season. Bit of a surprise that that's the case. His best result, second in Silverstone, and he was behind Otis Lawrence that day, who controlled things in mixed conditions. So the field ahead, basically everyone in the field apart from these two that we're focusing on, they were the top two. Now the bottom two, everyone else still needs to stop. Barry Boromond goes through, he has the fastest lap, and now it is the turn for the Ferrari man to punch a hole in the air, and they're making good progress. 9.4 seconds, that is an efficient outlap. Otis Lawrence happy to swap things over, and he will be nervously waiting to hear when the rest of the field come in to make their stop.
I think what we'll see here is a constant trade of positions between Boromond and Lawrence, as both of them are trying to preserve their tyres the best, but also get the maximum pace out of it at the same time as they try to catch on to the rest of the field, just trading DRS between them, neither of them having to put their tyres in a detrimental position. Back up at the front end, Otis Lawrence getting very close to the rear wing of Barry Boromond there as he goes wide. Boromond covers the inside, doesn't want to give up the position too early, does he? As Boromond seemingly backing up Lawrence. Lawrence puts his hand in the air as if to say, what is going on here? Is this tactics from the Ferrari lot? Fassi out in front into the pit lane. Here comes Rasmussen, but Barry Boromond clearly almost seeming like a rolling roadblock for Ferrari as Ismail Fassi is in the lead of the race. Otis Lawrence knows the game plans that are at hand, and Lawrence, as a result of it, will have lost a load of time on that lap.
Well, the middle sector, you can go slowly off the apex of the corners. You can run to try and help your teammate. It looked like Barry Boromond was doing that. But the gap between Fassi, oh, this is very, very close. This is not working together to try and get them out front at the moment. It's a brilliant race for 16th that could have major implications for further up the order. Ismail Fassi is ahead of Thomas Ronha. That's a change of position that we have yet to see on the racetrack. It's Fassi ahead of Ronha. Ronha now in second, but only half a second away. The gap between Otis Lawrence and the race lead is 18.7 seconds. But remember, those on the hard tyres are going to get the medium rubber on a lighter fuel load at a rubbered-in part of the racetrack at the end. Should be a very effective strategy at a racetrack you can run. But at the moment, still with the net race lead is Otis Lawrence.
Oh, Boromond is poking the bear. He wants the fight. He wants the battle. Ferrari want the battle, but here comes Boromond, and this will be nightmare fuel for Otis Lawrence. Down into turn one. He needs to get the move done back again in the second DRS zone if he doesn't want to lose bucket loads of time through the middle sector and through the S's. But Boromond's done a good enough job and gets a great exit off 3 heading into 4, and Otis Lawrence is now just a passenger through the middle sector. Let's keep an eye on the lap times. Out in front, the lap times being set. Looking at about 109s are the lap times being set, and Barry Borman just slowing it down on the apex, forcing Otis out wide as Lawrence is looking left, looking right, trying to find a way past, but there's just not enough room. There's nothing you can do here through the section, and Barry Borman is loving every moment of this. Ferrari will be watching along, cheering.
This is going to be a second by the end of the lap. This is going to cost Otis Lawrence a second. That will not help. Just looking at the times, the last time they came around, Otis Lawrence was 18.3 back. He's now 19.3 back. And Ismail Fassi still has an opportunity. Lawrence has just got to play the hand in front of him here. He might get restricted, and he wiggles the car as he moves ahead. This one is always going to be likely for Ferrari. They've got one car on one tyre. They've got another car who started on the medium. Now, can Otis Lawrence stay ahead on the run to 4, or will Barry Borman be able to get back ahead? Otis Lawrence has got to keep a cool head right now. He's still in a great position to score the points that he needs and win this one, but it's not straightforward.
Well, never mind helping out Fassi. Look who is arriving onto the back of this battle. Fast Freddie Rasmussen is arriving onto the scene as he now looks on to see the battle in front between Borman and Lawrence. But you're completely right, Alex. Lawrence needs to keep a steady head on his shoulders here. He can't afford to see red and start driving angry, because that's when the mistakes creep in. That's when the bad decision-making creeps in. He just needs to keep it cool, calm and collected and deal with the situation at hand the best that he can.
He might be stuck in a battle with Barry Borman, but it was always going to be likely that it was going to be pass and repass in Brazil. Drain the battery, get the place. Here we go again. Now, those who started on the medium tyres, and there was only 3 of them, find themselves glued together here. Otis Lawrence does not have the advantage, and he will be worried and wary of that gap to the race leader. It's come down on that lap to 17.6 seconds. The gap between Fassi and Otis Lawrence. We'll see what it is by the end. 17.6 is your reference as we begin this lap. This is their 19th lap of 36. And there you go, infield section. And it is 3 together. Race Control have the option of getting involved in this if they want to, but this is an available tactic for the drivers in the field.
Yep, nothing malicious going on here, but a Sunday drive for Barry Borman through the middle sector. He's in no rush to get that car through the corners. However, Otis Lawrence, on the other hand, will be thinking the complete opposite. Bunch of drivers now diving into the pit lane. This is the first of your hard runners now boxing. Caraton comes in, Benham comes in, Beresnay comes in. This is where the other Alpine can get involved. He can come in and try and break up the battle if possible. Down into turn 1, it's a lunge here from Lawrence. It was a late one, but he gets there and he gets it done. As now on the back foot, Borman does not have the opportunity to defend into the second sector. Rasmussen's brought into the battle as well. Can he make his way past the Ferrari lot? No, he can't. He still tucks in behind and stays third in the train.
Okay, big sector coming the way of Otis Lawrence. Freddie Rasmussen will be trying to heap the pressure on. Wouldn't be the worst idea to try and recharge at this stage. Try and break clear. Rasmussen up against Borman, up against Otis Lawrence. The drivers that still have a good opportunity. They will still have the net race lead, but they're going to be up against those at the very front on much fresher tyres. The hard tyre start looks to be the one to have, and in they come. This is the crucial moment. Here we go with Fassi and with Ronha and with Butcher. They come in. Jarno Opmeer goes long, and this one's going to be resolved late on. Is there a chance now? This could totally change things. Is there a chance for Freddie Rasmussen? Will Borman go for it? No change of position. And finally, Otis Lawrence is able to dictate the pace for 2 laps in a row, and Borman could be vulnerable here. This could be the moment for Barry Borman. He's checking the mirrors because Freddie Rasmussen is right there, and he decides against it. Still, Otis Lawrence stays ahead, and crucially for Otis Lawrence, Barry Borman and Freddie Rasmussen, they are out ahead of Fassi, Benham and Ronha, and Benham has got the jump on Ronha.
Caraton breaks in between Fassi and Rasmussen here, as Fassi will want to get that move done quickly and get himself onto this pack. Boromund really needs to find himself in front of the Alpine if he wants to help out his teammate here. Jarno going for the long run. He's looking to do some work as well for Rasmussen if possible. But Danny Beresnay, where did he come out in the order? He came out in 16th, so not able to have any immediate impact. But with those mediums, it won't be long until he catches on.
Freddie Rasmussen in the mix to do another superlative job for Red Bull, who are fighting for that team title. Jarno Opmeer going long. Will do what he always seems to. That's a late braking move and then some. They all make it into the center S's, but they're on the brink. They're on the brink right now. We are one lockup away. Is there an opportunity for Freddie Rasmussen? You can see the DRS effect. Big defensive move for Otis Lawrence, who is still going to be in the net race lead, but he's going to have a lot of pressure. Not just those directly behind him on the hard tyres, but those on fresh mediums are coming as well. It's a great outlap for Ismail Fassi, who's 9/10 of a second away from Freddie Rasmussen. Alvaro Caraton's in the mix of this one as well. He's in 13th, Benjamin 14th, and Ronha, who was very well placed, finds himself shuffled down the order at the crucial pit stops phase. And here comes Ismail Fassi. This one is still going all the way to the end.
Tactics, seemingly the key word of this race. Another thing to play in the back of your mind. Fassi and Rasmussen both tied on points for second in the driver's standings. Do they work together though, or do they battle? Do they work together and try to catch on to Otis Lawrence and both make their way past, or do they battle for their own? Defensive goes Rasmussen. He doesn't want to let Fassi have a look, but Fassi looks a long way round. Outside turns to the inside. He's on the outside once again. Battery deployment, better grip, better acceleration, and he gets there. It's another double Scuderia going forwards. We saw this exact moment in Mexico, and that's where we saw the prancing horses go flying through. Will it be a rinse and repeat, or will Otis Lawrence be able to hold them off this time?
Nicholas Longe leads. Jarno Opmeer is in second. They've yet to stop. None of the top 8 have. But this is a huge moment now. Do Ferrari issue the call? This was the fresh medium tyres of Ismail Fassi getting past Freddie Rasmussen. Will we see a swap over here? Ismail Fassi knew he needed something major today. Is he on the brink of it? Crucial move. There's the pass, gives the racing room, and then in the DRS and the slipstream of his teammate in front. Third position net on the road gained. Now, can he get past his teammate and take the fight to Otis Lawrence? It's 24 of 36. It's Ferrari versus Ferrari. Barry Boromund powering through. Barry Boromund takes the net race lead. It's only 6th at the moment, but Boromund in a brilliant position. And now the two contenders for the title are separated by hardly anything. Otis Lawrence had the lead for so long. One Ferrari's got through. It won't be two. Otis Lawrence around the outside. On the day he can become the champion, he went all in and he got the position.
Wow, what a move there. Otis Lawrence defending the position, finds himself with an overtaking opportunity and takes it by the horns, makes his way past the Ferrari of Barry Boromund, who's very much on park the bus duties, as Otis Lawrence makes his way with a crucial overtake. Let's have a replay from Otis Lawrence's POV. Boromund to the outside. Now he's in a Ferrari sandwich. Lawrence will be sweating beads right here. He's in 7th position, wants that 6th back from Barry Boromund. Keeps checking in his mirrors, keeps checking over his shoulders, goes to the inside, sells the dummy. Outside is the position he needed, late on the brakes and gets through.
Change of lead, but crucially for the championship battle, it's not just one Ferrari going by, it's 2 Ferraris going by. Otis Lawrence, Barry Boromund, not much room, and it's changed in an instant. Ismail Fassi now has the advantage and the fresher tyres, and Freddie Rasmussen's coming for company as well. Otis Lawrence looked in a brilliant position to win the title. Not so fast, say Ferrari.
Well, Fassi also in front of Boromund here, so Boromund's going to pull up with his tactical slow middle sector, and Lawrence, there is nothing he could do here. Fassi's just breaking away out in front, and this is not at all what Alpine would have wanted. This is exactly what they would have been looking to avoid. We were talking about teamwork, we were talking about tactics, we were talking about strategy, and Ferrari have played it to a T.
Jan Halliday still has to stop, Tom Manley still has to stop, and then we will have the order that you can see. But there are so many drivers behind on fresh and medium tyres. Ferrari have called the shots brilliantly. Watch Freddie Rasmussen. He can still win this title. He hasn't given up on it. He's into the slipstream with a Ferrari in front, but he's unable to get by. He is on the same strategy. Boromund, Lawrence and Rasmussen all started on the mediums. They all went to the hard tyre, and everyone behind is desperate to try and get by, as these are on the slower compound. But this title battle looks like it's going to the end, all the way to the end.
Oh, only 21 points now and 27 up for grabs. It's looking like we're going to have an Abu Dhabi bonanza with a mad dash to the line sprinkled in. On the inside, there goes Thomas Ronhaar as he tries to make his way past Alfie Butcher and also depart of the second McLaren of Jake Benham. He manages to do so there through the middle sector. Back on board with your championship leader, but no more with that championship cushion as both the Ferraris made their way past. Now, worst case scenario is Freddie Rasmussen makes his way through. Otis Lawrence will be doing everything in his power to prevent that.
Well, he went for the medium tyre because he knows that he would have entered into these shenanigans anyway. He's having to defend right now. He's having to defend, and he stays ahead for the moment. It's Fassi with the race lead. Oh, it's getting violent behind. Let's be honest. Elbows out, let's start throwing some punches. Alfie Butcher up against Ronhaar, and those who are currently with a great view of what's going on. Oh, hi, Jarno Opmeer. Thanks for joining us. He goes through. He waited. Tyre offset, fresh and mediums, and the position gain for the three-time champ.
Fight night commences in the midfield as everyone's squabbling for positions now, with Jarno Opmeer just carving his way through the field. Rasmussen tries a brave one on the inside, can't quite get there. There's plenty more where that came from though, as Freddie Rasmussen is showing that his intentions are clear. Thomas Ronhaar, he feels hard done by losing out on pole position, but finds himself on the outside of Benham. That's not going to be an easy move. Can he get the switch into the final bend? Not really opted for, not an overtaking opportunity that you often see, but with DRS and battery down the main straight, will we see the silver arrow just spoon on by and make his way past? We'll see. Thomas Ronhaar still followed in behind by Jarno Opmeer. Opmeer on the fresher of the medium tyres. Both Red Bulls finding themselves in the thick of the action.
Okay, Ismail Fassi leads by 3.6 seconds. I can't imagine Otis Lawrence is going to be delighted with the way that Ferrari have operated in this race, and yet that is what we have seen. We have a train behind second place. They have played the tactics brilliantly in their interest. They're on for a 1-2 as it stands. They're on for a last race title decider with Ismail Fassi trying to take his first title up against Otis Lawrence, trying to do the same thing. And there you can see the gap as it stands. Still advantage Otis Lawrence, but this was the first opportunity to win the title, and it does not look like it's going to be taken. Incredible. Even if Otis Lawrence gets by now, it's still not enough. 20 points would be the gap, and Otis Lawrence has waited and bided his time. The worry for him will be if any of those medium runners can get through the Rasmussen wall, then it becomes a completely different proposition.
Well, Rasmussen, as we know, a very fierce competitor. It's not going to be easy to make your way past the driver with the highest points total in F1 sim racing history. 1,198 points to his name and counting. And he's looking for a few more as he attacks the back of Otis Lawrence once again. Lawrence reacts well. Lawrence not being in an easy position at all this race. And I mean, hats off to him for keeping his head on his shoulders and not losing his head at all. Defending the whole race, overtaking the whole race. It hasn't been smooth sailing like he was planning for. The perfect start was not enough to secure the championship for Otis Lawrence, as Ismail Fassi says goodbye out in front with 5.2 seconds to his name.
Well, Barry Burrament is in line for quite a lot of feedback, I imagine, at the end of this race from his fellow drivers, and a raise from Ferrari, because this has been the ultimate team game. He was playing it in the middle sector before we'd even got to the stage where those who started on the hard tyres were able to make a move. Here, talking of making a move, is Freddie Rasmussen. Big opportunity. We go tight to the pit wall. This could be a change of position involving one of the championship contenders. It's very, very tight. They're banging wheels. Is the room? Again, they make contact. Rasmussen and Lawrence trading blows, and they're still in the same order, but do they allow the danger man Caraton and his medium tyres to get by? They scrap. Inside line for Alvaro Caraton, and now he's ahead of Rasmussen.
The Spaniard slips by, and now with the medium tyres on his car has a great opportunity to make his way even further forward. Otis Lawrence, I think, will not be too bothered about a battle with Caraton in behind in the Williams. This isn't the battle that he's focused on. He'll just be hoping that Caraton holds up Rasmussen in behind with 6 laps remaining on the clock. Back down the inside, there is Jarno Opmeer still making his way through the midfield on those medium tyres. Ron Har, though, is giving him a run for his money down into the final. Benton on the inside, he finds himself, does Ron Har, as Benham wasn't expecting that one. I wasn't expecting that one, but either way, he gains the place. Following through in suit is Jarno Opmeer as they are clashing horns of the Red Bulls, and down to turn 1. Do we go 3 wide? Both the McLarens getting involved. So is the Red Bull, so is the Mercedes, and just about keeping it in a straight line. Little bit of a touchy moment there for Benham as he finds himself sideways, losing a few positions. Crozin goes through, Pedreño goes through, Longuet goes through, Tormola goes through, and dropping down the order. What's happened to Jake Benham?
Yeah, Jake Benham, who was in the mix here. That's why we had the yellow flag out in the first sector of the racetrack, and Benham goes down to 17th place. His tough luck in 2026 continues. And let's see that moment once again then. You've got Jarno Opmeer ahead. Alfie Butcher in the mix, and it was getting scrappy. There's the contact. Pedreño off the road, and then someone is going to collect him further back, and there is the spin.
Such minimal contact, but with your steering at that angle, nothing Butcher could do there. He went bowling down into turn 1, little bit of contact. That's what set off Benham, and Benham, unfortunately, just a passenger through that section. Nothing else he could have done, but in the end, drops down to 17th position. Otis Lawrence not bothered about any of the pandemonium going on in behind. He's just focused on trying to make his way past Barry Borman. It's damage limitation at this point for Otis Lawrence. He knows he can't win the championship in this race, as Ismail Fassi has just disappeared out in front, but the Welshman can definitely try and extend the points gap as much as possible. If he makes his way past Barry Borman, that would be crucial. It's 3 more points to his name.
Yeah, everything is so important. It looked for all the world like he had done the hard work with pole position, but having 2 cars capable of winning the race has changed this one in Brazil. It's a 6.4 second gap. Ismail Fassi is going to win this one. Barry Burman in a scrap with Otis Lawrence, and Jarno Opmeer's getting the move done to move up to 5th, up against Ron Har. And here is Rasmussen in the mix. Freddie Rasmussen is tumbling out of contention in this one, and Jarno Opmeer has 5th place. Opmeer is now a danger man for Otis Lawrence. And remember, Red Bull still fighting for the team's championship. They're trying to win 4 in a row. It's Fassi ahead of Barry Borman, and their gap, as it stands, is 5.4 seconds across the line. That's come down. So Ismail Fassi finds himself 5.5 ahead now. Otis Lawrence still in the mix. Caraton in 4th. But it's Jarno Opmeer, the driver to watch, with that slightly longer stint that gives him fresher tyres to the end.
Well, he also has the experience of 3 championships under his belt, and that's exactly what we're going to see here. Ronha with a little bit of an argy-bargy move there on Freddie Rasmussen. Jarno Opmeer says thank you very much. I'll pick up the scraps from that. And the takeaway from that is 2 extra positions to his name, as Rasmussen is going to have to fend off that one. Ronha and Rasmussen drop down, but Jarno Opmeer continues to climb up to 5th. Finds Jarno Opmeer. He's still within a chance of this championship now.
Well, Barry Burman and Otis Lawrence have been glued together for the entirety of this race. Otis Lawrence on for 15 points to get him closer to the title, but it's way closer than he would have wanted. Here are the live standings. Alpine still with the margin. Opmeer will be fully motivated to chase down the Williams and chase down the Alpine. That would be huge if he can make the passes. The problem is we've got 3 to go, including this one.
Lawrence needs the points for his Drivers' Championship, needs the points for his Team's Championship, because that's where the money's at the end of the day. So he'll be having that playing on in the back of his mind. DRS not wanting to force an overtake on Burman. He doesn't want to risk anything in these late stages with just a few laps to go. Otis Lawrence is quite content with his position right now. In the background, though, one driver not content is Jarno Opmeer, as he was looking at a move at Otis Lawrence. Freddie Rasmussen also looking for a move on Thomas Ronha. If both of these Red Bull drivers manage to gain 1 more position each, that would put Red Bull in the hot seat heading into Abu Dhabi.
It would give them the chance. This could yet change. Otis Lawrence, it will be charging the battery. It's hurry up and wait time. If you've got a theoretical advantage, you are waiting for lap 36. He does not want to get sucked into pass and repass and risk that position. He wants one decisive move to try and break the Ferrari 1-2 and minimize the damage. And we go over the line now to the penultimate lap. He will tuck back in. He's got the slipstream. He does not want that track position. He will check the mirrors. He will see the Williams there. Remember, those medium tyres won't be in the best place anymore. They will degrade. And we are waiting for the final lap of the race, a race that looks like it's going to be won by Ismail Fassi. Otis Lawrence waiting and waiting and waiting, and then returning to the racing line. Barry Burman has played the ultimate team game. Ferrari have put on an exhibition here. Team tactics and a race-winning move. Ismail Fassi getting the help from his teammate Barry Burman. Their reward in a few laps' time, in a few corners' time now. Is going to be a 1-2, or is it? Otis Lawrence will have something to say about it.
Ismail Fassi, leader on the circuit, but the real winner of this race has been Barry Burman. He's done everything the team could ask for him and more. If there was a driver of the day vote, there is no doubt who it would be heading the way of, as Barry Burman has pulled out all the stops for Ferrari, as Ismail Fassi now adorns himself with the penultimate lap of the race. Crossing the line, we're now on the last lap. Otis Lawrence is looking to have to wait 1 more race to be crowned GOATist once again. He can't celebrate too soon, and Alpine will now be sat in the bleachers on tender hooks heading into the final race this afternoon.
It won't be comfortable. It's not comfortable for anyone. We're on board with Freddie Rasmussen. Is there a chance for Otis Lawrence? Does he settle for P3? We've still got a drag race to the line to come if you've kept anything in behind battery-wise. Ismail Fassi is on his way to another victory. Would be back-to-back victories that keep him a contender for the title. Barry Burman finds himself in 2nd place, having played the team game, and Otis Lawrence will try and hang on to 3rd and take a 17-point gap into the final race of the season. We'll also get confirmation for who's got the fastest lap, because that is worth a point if you are inside the top 10 as well. But for the time being, we will find ourselves in the final corners of the last lap, and here will come Ismail Fassi, still a contender for the title. Fassi wins again, and he'll fight it all the way to Abu Dhabi. And who will be 2nd across the line? It's a Ferrari 1-2. Thanks to Barry Burman, Otis Lawrence will carry a 17-point advantage into the final round of the season. Alvaro Carreton, a strong 4th, Jarno Opmeer in 5th, and then it was Ronha, Rasmussen, Butcher, Prozen and Longuet. And we'll see you later tonight, because we've got our last race title decider to win it all in Abu Dhabi.
A big embrace, and the red flag flies for Ferrari as they work so well together to find themselves with a 1-2 result. Burman talked about the 1-2 results at the beginning of the weekend, but it was to that man's detriment as Otis Lawrence is sat in despair. It was a possibility. He could have wrapped up the championship in Sao Paulo, but that weight on his shoulders is now multiplied by 10 as it will go down to the final race. Otis Lawrence only leading by mere margins now.
Well, I didn't think that was going to be possible for Ferrari, but they have orchestrated back-to-back wins for Ismail Fassi. He converted one car on the medium, one car on the hard, and Otis Lawrence's day just got that bit longer. There will be no relaxing into the final race of the season. We're going all the way to the end.
Oh. How else would you want to hear in F1 sim racing? It's always eventful. We were saying that we wanted the drama, and we've all gotten what we asked for. If you're Otis Lawrence, you would want it wrapped up one race early. If you're Ismail Fassi, you want it to go to Abu Dhabi, and he gets his way this time round. But it's a completely different story once we're under the spotlights, under the floodlights of the Yas Marina circuit. It is anyone's game. Still in contention is Fassi, still in contention is Rasmussen, as Otis Lawrence just needs to get the race done. He needs to finish in front of Fassi, and he needs to get a good haul of points this afternoon. That's all it takes for Alpine to wrap it up in the drivers, but the team standings is a completely different ballpark.
Yeah, that will be fascinating to see how they deliver it. Nicolas Longuet fuming with that one, unhappy to not be able to figure any further up the order than 10th place, and Otis Lawrence will come back with an amazing opportunity later on, but Ferrari in formation has changed the battles. That is genuinely fascinating to see what we get later on. But it's a Ferrari 1-2 that sends us to a last race decider. He looks like he's going to speak to Nicola in a few moments' time. And this is going to be a very interesting interview with second and with third. Barry Burman and Otis Lawrence standing by. This is the moment that Ismail Fassi took us to a last race decider. The man in the battle last year, and his teammate Barry Burman roaring with delight. They've still got a chance to win it all.
Oh, it all goes down to the final race, and thanks to that man there, Barry Burman, pulling out all the extra stops to make sure that Ismail Fassi was able to walk away with the victory and beat title contender Otis Lawrence. This could be a spicy interview.
Ismail Fassi has won to take us to a last race decider. Barry Burman second for Ferrari, playing the team game. Otis Lawrence has a 17-point lead. Alvaro Carreton is in fourth, and then it's Otmar, Ronhard, Rasmussen, Butcher, and then Crozen and Longuet. The order completed by Ruben Pedreno, and then it is Tormala, Beresne, Halliday, Manley, Gow, Hardy, and Benham. Let's now hear from the two key figures of the race in second and third. Barry Burman, Otis Lawrence, in conversation with Nicola.
Yep, so I'm stood here right now. They are chatting amongst themselves, and I did think to myself, this is going to be an incredibly awkward and uncomfortable interview. However, this just makes good telly. So it's only right that we do this. I mean, P2, P3, I mean, Barry, you played the ultimate team game there.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say apologize to Otis. He knows how much I recognize him and how good he is and how talented he is since day one that I know him. And I would at the same time, obviously, missing first two events. As I said, in event 3, the priority going to be constructor. And obviously, if you're in the position I can help Isma, it's going to be always that. Because obviously it makes sense. I have nothing to gain. But I can help him, maybe give him a good fight for the last run. But yeah, I mean, we planned that what we're going to do in the race, and I think we perfectly managed to do it. It's just the way we did it, I think, I don't know, it was just close to perfection. And at the end, we got the 1-2. Super happy for Isma as well. And I did what I have to do.
You did. And while we were watching it upstairs in the green room, I was watching and just thinking, as a fan of this series, that was such an exciting race to watch, because now it does bring it down to the last race of the season. So, Otis, talk me what was going through your head during those last few laps.
I just didn't want to die, to be honest. All through that race, it was just to be honest, head loss. I had obviously Barry trying to help his teammate in this race, which is of course he's going to do because he's in Ferrari and Isma's fighting for the title with me. So yeah, it is what it is. I maximized P3 today. Could have went for a P2, but I didn't really want to risk too much. I'd rather take these 15 points, take a 17-point lead, and yeah, it's nothing personal or anything, as I always say. We're just racing hard, as always. Obviously, I'm going to be angry in the moment because I didn't win, but yeah, these are all fantastic competitors. So yeah, let's see what happens in the next race.
It was also really nice that immediately after, obviously you congratulated your teammate Barry, but then immediately after went straight over to Otis, shook his hand and apologised.
Yeah, I mean, because I have been in that position and I know how tough it is and how annoying it is, obviously, and I understand how he feels because I have been there. So that's why I felt I had to do that. Obviously, I have a really good relationship with Otis as well, and I felt I have to do that.
Feel the same?
Yep.
I love how I feel like this is it was a polite apology. You can now just sort of go back. You can relax a little bit before we go racing in Abu Dhabi for the final race of the season. Otis, it all comes down to this. What are you going to do in the little break between the two?
Well, of course, regroup with my team. I just got to focus now for the next quali. It's going to be tough last round, but I'd rather be in 17 points ahead than be 17 points behind.
Yeah, so it's still yours to win. So everything's fine. Everything's still in your favour. Right, I'm just going to let this heated moment calm down a little bit and send it back to the studio.
What a race. I mean, I don't think there's anything I can say. I mean, fantastic stuff. This battle from Barry Boromund and Otis Lawrence, being the team player Barry and ending up on the podium as well. Had a bit of everything, an absolute ding-dong, and the person who enjoyed that the least would be Otis Lawrence. But what a team game from Ferrari. I'm stood next to your winner right now. I'm excited to talk to him. It feels like a deja vu of yesterday because he's back in the studio, 2 wins in a row. But this was truly spectacular to watch. Brendan Lee, 2-time world champ, will be breaking it down for you in just a moment. But just seeing these scenes, pure expert craft from both of those drivers, knew what they had to do and they got the job done. Also, shout out to Alvaro Caraton finishing in P4, the Spaniard, former teammate of Ismail Fassi. That is his this is his highest finish since 2021 when he was on the podium, 3rd place around Bahrain. So something for everyone. Here he is, your winner around Interlagos. Ismail Fassi, congratulations. How do you feel after that one?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. If I have to say something, is wow. We planned this already since the beginning of, before the race basically, and it just worked out perfectly. Obviously, Barry made pretty much like 80% of my race. I just had to be the first hard runner to pit, to be the first medium runner on the second stint to catch up to the group and overtake them, and then he was just gonna do his job, and he just did it perfectly.
It's easy enough to say, right, here's my plan, but to actually execute it, and he was ecstatic at the end of the race. I mean, you were slapped so hard on your left shoulder from Barry. He was ecstatic. It shows what it means to you as a team.
Yes, obviously. It's a 1-2. I think everyone would be happy after 1-2. We closed the gap a lot to the top teams, Alpine and Red Bull. I don't know what's the gap right now, but it's 43 points, so that's a lot. Yeah, don't have anything else to add, to be honest.
That is someone who's won 2 races in a row. Brendan, you know what it feels like to win a race and to see a team expertly working. That's almost like your Mercedes days, you and Danny Beresne running the show.
Yeah, it did give me a bit of flashbacks. And to be honest, you always sat next to me on the sofa as I was watching, and I was as nervous watching that race as I would be in it, to be honest. I can only imagine what it feels like to be in the race. First of all, we're going to talk about you coming across the start-finish line to win the race. Talk us through your emotions and what you're starting to feel in this moment.
Well, the first thing I did was I checked the gap. I saw basically 3.5 tenths, which is more than enough because we were lower on the wing. I think we were pretty much one of the lowest. And already from the last corner, I was checking the gap. I think it was like around 4 tenths, 4.5, I believe. And yeah, I was just checking the gap. I really didn't care about my win because it's also his win. He pretty much did all the job, and yeah.
We're filing an underline, a win for the team, Brendan.
A win for the team. I think they can share it and lift the virtual trophy together in that way. So quickly, so did you work together to alter the setup for Bari to be a lower drag configuration to help this team play?
No, it was actually our original setup.
Really?
We just realized that everyone was higher in wings than us, which made it easier for us. Yeah, I could hear Barry saying that Otis was really quick in the middle, but then on the straights, he had to be really close to Barry to make a move, which is difficult on this game with the DRTR.
So this is what's going to open up your race. So we're going to see Otis Lawrence and Bari peeling into the pit lane, Thomas Ronhard taking the provisional lead, and of course you in close proximity behind, then going on later as well. This must be heart-in-mouth moments for you. Lap 23 of the race, provisionally P9, P10 and P11 before the pit stops start to filter out. But talk us through this moment. You see Bari ahead of you, you see Otis. What are you thinking?
Well, here I stopped using ERS on the main straight. I thought I was just going to prepare it for this straight because I thought they were going to be side by side. It didn't work, but on the very next lap, lap 25, I kept using ERS on the main straight and made it easy for me. Also, here in Turn 4, I braked really early because I realized that at this moment I realized Otis was closing the line. I was going to get pushed off the track, so I just braked early because otherwise I would have been pretty much in the wall.
That is, to be honest, I know that feeling as a driver and really good spatial awareness, right? Because you could be going for that championship, you could be going for the glory, but to keep the cool mind, keep the cool head in that moment, to not go for the gap, what could have ended in disaster. One final question before we move over to an incident that did end in disaster. Were you two talking together in the race and coordinating those strategic decisions?
Well, I was just asking for my tire wear because obviously we pitted lap, it was 20 for me, I believe. There are people that pit 19. It's quite early. It's same as Mexico. It's really early because I didn't expect to be just 3 medium hard runners in the whole race, which is what it was a bit surprising for me. I thought there were going to be more mediums, people starting on mediums. So we had to pit early to just cover position. Which is what we did. It was already the plan because I had to get to the group, overtake them, Barry be the leader of the group, and then just build the gap.
So now we're going to move over to the incident that ended in disaster, and this is why I brought up spatial awareness. Jake Benham was having probably one of the best races of his season, and we're just going to see a clattering downfall of his race in a moment of time. A little bit into the back of Jarno Opmeer, side by side with his teammate, stuck off the racing line, hit from the side, bottoms out on the curbing, and he's going to get a whack from Joni Tormala as well. So that's quite simply how quickly it can go wrong in F1 sim racing. That's all from me with the analysis.
I love the way he ends the analysis. Come and sit down with me, Ishmael. Congratulations on getting that win. So we head over and see Nicola as well. I love it, isn't it? When Brendan said, that's enough from me. Thank you.
And that's it from me.
Yeah.
Back to you in the studio.
And he has to walk across the studio. It was brilliant. What was it like chatting to, from my perspective, watching Barry and Otis chat? We spoke about it again. This is going to be interesting, that
Yes.
discussion. But I found Barry to be incredibly humble and to acknowledge straight away Otis's annoyance.
It
and
was
frustration.
genuinely lovely because off camera, I'm not sure if you managed to see it or not, but Barry obviously came up, congratulated Ishmael, but then immediately went over to Otis and went, I'm sorry, man, I did what I had to do.
Of course.
And then they shook hands, stood up, they had a little chat amongst themselves. And then it was just an awkward moment that I was like, I have to speak to both of them. I have to, because this is just the perfect moment. And this just, I can't makes good telly.
Yeah.
So we had to speak to both of them. It was the only way to do it. So managed to nab them both. They were having a chat amongst themselves. And you could feel a bit of tension between the two, but also there's an understanding because you know that if the same situation was happening with Alpine, they probably would have played it the same.
Definitely.
You know, it's what you do. It's a team race at the end of the day, and you're there to help each other out. And Barry played an absolute blinder, and I'm so over the moon for you. And now we're going down to the last race of the season.
You can't, don't even bother talking to Ishmael about it. He's not thinking about the championship.
Oh, OK, we're not thinking about it.
Let's have a look back at some of the highlights from that race around Interlagos. There's been a different winner every single time around Interlagos and add another name into the mix. We've had so many different winners there. All started nice and clean to begin with, Brendan.
Yeah, all clean, surprising for Brazil, easy to make wheel-to-wheel contact with turn 1, turn 2. And as Ismail pointed out, only 3 runners on the medium compound tyre to start with. That's pretty abnormal for F1 sim racing standards, especially around Brazil. You normally get a 50-50 split. And even watching up in the nice air-conditioning green room, we saw that, and I was surprised as well.
I think the amount of times we mention the green room, I don't want it to sound too fancy. It's not too fancy, it's lovely.
We do have snacks.
Oh yeah, there are a couple of snacks there. And I tell you what, the snacks got eaten at some point because watching Otis be guarded by Barry, and we thought, wow, what a call here from the team. And as Ishmael said, it's a good idea to have a plan, but you've still got to execute it at the moment.
I mean, it all seemed to, it worked out perfectly. I mean, like I was just watching Barry just play the Minister of Defence there, and he did a really, really wonderful job.
Oh,
and you can't knock that at all. And it was clearly, if it was planned, nailed it.
And that overtake from Ishmael Fassi, that was pretty tasty there, Ishmael.
I thought he moved up the braking. I just realized now that I braked a bit late on my side. I just reflexes. I had to turn right, otherwise I was gonna crash into him. Yeah, nothing else.
Nothing else.
Around the outside, better tires, much better tires.
Great to see. I mentioned as well Alvaro Caratano, or we're seeing this Jake Benham again, this moment, and then the Racing Bulls, and then that is all over. And it was so heartbreaking because for Jake, I mean, he's had such a tricky start to the year. Go back to Japan when he had a podium. It's quite a few races ago. And the fist bump celebration in the air. More finger wagging. It's the F1 Sim Racing finger wag central here. That's what it means to the team. With the engineers as well. Jonah and Oscar doing a fantastic job. Shout out to those guys.
Of course, always. It was their plan. We had to execute it. We did it, but it was their plan.
Driver standings then. That's a perfect way to end that, wrap things up. Driver standings for where we stand. That was the penultimate race of the season. And there you have it. Quick maths, 17 points. Right there. I wonder how Otis is really feeling right now. It could have been sewn up, and it hasn't been.
Yeah, he was serious Otis at that time, so I think we need to, see if he can pick himself up to be a cheeky chappy again, because I think that's when he races pretty well. But I am wondering, Ishmael, because yesterday when we spoke to you when you were sat in this seat when you won, you said to us afterwards that you could feel your heartbeat through your entire body. Can you feel your heartbeat through your body right now?
Not right now, obviously, but yeah, it's always the same thing in quali. In the race, I have a different feeling. It's just you're so focused on what you're doing, so I don't really feel anything on my body. I'm just driving and trying my best, giving my best, but then quali, it's a one lap, then you stop, then you again feel the pressure, then you go out again, but you still feel the pressure. In the race, I don't really feel that.
Yeah, 5 points separate Alpine and Red Bull.
That's crazy.
It's box office. It's absolute box office. Well, that's the end of the season. Wait a minute. No, it's not. We've got another race. This is the schedule for today. And what a day it is. Event 4 for the 2026 Sim Racing World Championship. And there it is, Yas Marina to close out, as it's always been for the last few years, definitely. Looking forward to this one, Brendan, because we won't see you during the quali show. You'll be in and out around the Formula One Media and Technology Centre. We don't actually know where you go. I'll ask that question off air. But Abu Dhabi, looking forward to it?
To be honest, no, because I'm so nervous about it. So as a driver, I would be, but as a spectator, you're controlless, right? So in some ways I am, but mostly not, because I'm gonna be a nervous wreck.
And what will you do right now, Ishmael, after this?
Well, first of all, drink a lot of water. Have dinner. No, wait. What time is it? I don't even know what time is it. Not dinner yet.
Dinner after quali.
This is the true champion talking. Is it dinner? Can we have dinner yet? Am I allowed dinner? You can do what you want. You just won that.
I thought we did quali already, so my mind is not in the right place.
reset. I think what's going to happen right now is Ismail Fassi and the team will have a full reset. Congratulations again on the win around Interlagos and Mexico. Nicola, looking forward to coming back in a bit.
Oh, bring it on. I know I said earlier it would be nice if it was sort of cleared up at this point, but actually, as a fan of racing, you want it to come down to the last race of the season. You do.
Well, of course.
Yes.
Brendan Lee, Ismail Fassi, Nicola Hume, and to everyone watching and to the whole team making this come together, Kai Vicini and Alex Jakes. We'll all have a quick break when we come back qualifying around Yas Marina. We'll see you then.